Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And it's time now that AEW WrestleDream is in the books to deliver our star ratings hot, fresh, right out of the oven, less than 24 hours from the start of the pay-per-view.
We're shooting this, and it's just like 14 hours after the pay-per-view concluded. We don't wait a few extra days like those other star ratings. No, we do this the next day. So there.
Yeah, so there you have it. We don't need to mull over stuff. We watch a match. We know what the star rating is.
Knee-jerk reactions only. No further evaluation. Anyway, let's get right into it. People are here for star ratings. That's what's in the title.
Right.
We didn't watch 0 Hour. The 10 matches on 0 Hour, so we're not going to rate those. We're only rating the main card.
Give us the main dish. We don't do the aperitif.
If you want the full card, then you can go to those other star ratings and get the.
You can wait another 18 days for those other guys.
Exactly. So here we go. The first match on the main card was The Righteous challenging MJF for those Ring of Honor tag titles. Steve, what'd you give this match?
I'm gonna set the tone today, Larson. I gave this a 1.5 stars.
Wow, 1.5 stars.
I'm sorry. It's one man versus a tag team that's been around for a while. They hyped them up, and this guy turned them into clowns. He said, "Hey, fat boy, I'm going to drop you with a body slam." And he did, and he took care of these guys with ease. There was no drama, no tension. He ran circles around them. I gave it a 1.5 stars for the comedy value alone. But beyond that, it's silliness. It's your world champion, and he's putting on a clown show with the Righteous. They're supposed to be like a threat of some sort. Nah, not anymore. No. 1.5 stars. Get out of here with this.
I gave it 2 for the comedy factor. The way MJF could say, "I'm going to hit you with this mundane, rudimentary wrestling move and get that over." Mm-hmm. It is an impressive feat.
It's pretty damn funny.
It's
I'll
impressive,
give it that.
But this is a comedy match, and you said it perfectly. The Righteous, if we want to take them seriously, they got to beat some stiff competition. Like going into it, I knew MJF as world champion was not eating a pin to Vincent or Dutch.
Yeah,
but there could have been a more potentially have MJ actually have to cheat to win or something to win this match. Have him have to use a Dynamite Diamond Ring or something.
The Ring of Honor tag titles are supposed to mean so much to him because of his relationship with Adam Cole. Like, he should be desperate to hold on to these things. And there was no drama, no tension in this match. I felt bad for the Righteous. They were done dirty, man.
Yeah.
I cannot endorse this match, Larson.
It's a bad spot. Next up, Eddie Kingston defending the Ring of Honor world title and the New Japan Strong Openweight title against Katsuyori Shibata. Physical, hard-hitting bout, as you'd expect between these two. Really good stuff. I kind of waffle between 2 scores. You know what? I'll give it the higher of the 2. Why not? I'm in a good mood today.
Yeah.
So anytime Eddie's dropping back fists on people, I'll pop.
Yeah.
He's using the power bomb like Kawada told him to as his finish.
Yeah,
this is really good, hard-hitting stuff. I know the outcome wasn't really in doubt, but it's a good match. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. I thought this was a really fun bout.
Buddy, our Kachras are aligned. 3 3/4 as well. Everything you said. I hesitate to give it 4 stars simply because I knew what the outcome was. Felt like, one of those really good G1 matches that really didn't offer up any surprises.
Yeah.
Same as you, 3 3/4.
There we go. Let's see if our Kachras are aligned. This next match, TBS Championship match, Julia Hart challenging champion KRIS Statlander. Steve, what'd you give this bout?
Another under 10-minute match for the women, the only women's match on the show. The build to this was okay. Julia won a bunch of matches, and they did some stuff. I thought the match was fine. I gave it 3 1/4. They don't let the women do more than just I thought this was fine matches. That's just it's sort of what it was, and it didn't offer up any surprises. And I thought Julia put in a really good character performance. I thought that was really good, so I gave it 3 1/4.
Aligned yet again, 3 1/4.
Wow.
I like the false finishes. I mentioned this on the recap. There was, 3 instances where Julia could have won this match.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps. Got the miss spot. KRIS had a counter for it. The moonsault, KRIS just got her foot on the rope. and then the Heartless KRIS powered up out of it. So I hope they revisit this feud because I think it's been really good for Julia Hart. And I think the more stories and feuds, long-term feuds that KRIS Statlander's involved in is going to elevate the TBS title. There's a lot to like about this match. I hope we see it again and they give him more than, 8.5 minutes, however long this was.
Yeah. It was according to Wikipedia, it was 9 minutes exactly.
9 minutes on the dot. All right, give him more than 9 minutes. How about, 15, maybe 18 or 20? Give him more time. Let him tell a story.
You can tell a real story that way, yeah.
I know, but I liked a lot what I saw here, and yeah, Julia Hart's really improved over the course of the last year. And I'd like to see her involved in, again, longer matches, more protracted feuds. 3 1/4. Moving on, we have this number 1 contender tag team 4-way. Had the Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers, Orange Cassidy, and Hook, and the Guns. Young Bucks won, which is a bit of a surprise. If this was a Dynamite main event, I'd have been super happy because it was a really good match. There's a lot to like about it.
Yeah.
Given the participants, you expect a lot of creativity. Got that. Expect a lot of really cool spots. Got that too. Hopefully Ray Phoenix isn't hurt. That seems to be kind of the story coming out of this. It's kind of surprising the Young Bucks won, but I guess with Full Gear in L.A., their home turf, taking on FTR there. They can get the tag titles in the Forum. Winning time for the Young Bucks. I gave it... They have their own system in place, apparently. I gave it 3 3/4. A lot to like here, but not a classic.
Our Kachas aren't exactly aligned, but we're pretty close. I gave it 3.5. You get all these guys in the ring together. Unlike a little bit later, this sort of added up to the sum of its parts. Not much more, but this match was fine. I gave it 3.5 because all the participants, like you said, lots of creativity, lots of good stuff. They brought it. And like you said, also, if this was a Dynamite main event, it would have been like, oh my God, this is really good. This is on pay-per-view, probably belongs on TV. But yeah, 3.5 stars. That was fine.
Yeah. Next up, probably my personal match of the night. Swerve Strickland taking on Hangman Adam Page. I really like the story going into this match. I like how that story was implemented during the match. I like how Hangman was working over Swerve's hand after he had stabbed it with the pen at the contract signing. I like Swerve going after Hangman's shoulder. Try to mitigate the impact of the buckshot. A lot to really, really like about this match. I'm ecstatic that Swerve finally got that huge win on a huge stage. And now that he has officially Hangman's spot, hopefully that means more appearances in the main event for Swerve Strickland. I love this match. I gave it 4 3/4. I thought it was fantastic.
Kachas are aligned. I gave it 4 3/4 is 4 3/4 as well. Everything you said is absolutely true. Love this match. I feel like maybe if they get to like a trilogy and they put on something even better than this, then you're gonna blast through like to the 5-star.
Exactly. But that's kind of what it feels like. It's like, hey, here's a really good opening chapter in this feud, but when it concludes, it's going to be phenomenal, out of sight. Great stuff. Next up, a match that probably could have been opening the second hour on Dynamite or Collision. We got Ricky Starks, who I want to see on pay-per-view. I want to see him on pay-per-view matches with actual stakes, though, against Wheeler Yuta. Steve, what'd you give this match?
I gave it 2.5 stars. It shouldn't be on. It shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view. There's nothing special about this. Bill Big came out to hang out. There was nothing going on. There was really nothing going on here, man. They gave this match more time than the women. They didn't do shit. It was just a 10-minute match.
This should have been 3.5 minutes. 2.5 stars. We agree.
Yeah, 2.5 stars, man. This is not my favorite match.
No, not my favorite. Let's move on to a fantastic bout. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the unofficial title of Best Technical Wrestler in the World. As far as the wrestling in this match, absolutely nothing to quibble about. This is like technical wrestling perfection. And I like now after the match, given that Danielson won with a strike versus a submission, for both parties, seemingly the door is open for a rematch down the line.
Yeah.
And they should make it a submission match. That'd be great, where you have to win via submission. And if they do a rematch, I'll probably appreciate that one a bit more than this one because there's more of a story, and it might be one of Danielson's last matches at that point. Might be his last one. If he gives the rub to Zack Sabre Jr. on his way to a part-time wrestling career, that's huge for Zack.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I wish this match had more of was story. That being said, you can't ask for a better wrestled match, even if the story was kind of not really there. I gave it 5 stars. I mean, I don't know how you can give this any less than 5 stars.
Yeah, no, and I didn't. I went a little bit higher. I've only given 2 matches 5 stars before in our short time doing this. But you know, it's funny, man. This is one of those matches where I know what you're talking about. Like, you know, there's no story, because you mean there's no story leading up to it, right? Is that
yeah, the story is everybody wants to see this match, and they're both really good technical wrestlers. That's the story. And
dude, I won't give. I won't really often take that as a story, but these guys' career, for me, their careers is the story. And in this case, that's why I'm glad there was no Ricky Stark shenanigans. This was just in a bubble. You got the same guy, 15 years separated, 20 years separated, whatever. And my God, like I absolutely thought this match blew me away, especially the last half. It was 22 minutes and 45 seconds. And I thought that the story they told in the ring, it's rare for me that alone can carry a match to such extreme heights.
I was going to mention that as well.
But that moment when Zack Sabre Jr. can't move, it was just and we talked about this yesterday, how everything is so, I would love to know the creative process behind this match. How much of it was in the ring? Was it just them doing, like, how can they plan out, you know, that kind of stuff. I gave it 5.5 stars. I think down the line they could probably deliver my first 6-star match with what, like you said, more stakes, you know, involved. But dude, these guys just absolutely, man, blew me away. Like the last 10 minutes of this match, the second half of this match especially, where I was like, how is Danielson going to get out of this? And as soon as he would and he'd mount some offense, boom, Zack Sabre Jr., he'd come back and he'd wrap him up again. It was thrilling. It was absolutely thrilling. I gave it 5.5 star match. My highest rated match ever.
I'm happy you mentioned the story within the ring, the story being told in the ring, because it was phenomenal. Working body parts, the execution of that was fantastic. Next up, Don Callis family versus the Golden Jets. I know in our review we were tepid about this particular bout. Felt like urgency. The build not the best, perhaps. Now that you've had about 14 hours or so to think about it, have you reevaluated your position on this match, Steve?
Yeah, I think it's even worse than I thought last night. Dude, I'm sorry, man. This is going to be interesting to see how those other guys grade it, because I have felt that Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita and Kota Ibushi in a match together can't get anything less than 4 stars, and that's probably what Dave's going to give it. That being said, I gave this 2 stars, man. I'm sorry, you have 4 of potentially the best wrestlers on the planet, and this is the trash they put out there. This was goofball stuff, man. This was garbage. I'm sorry, but I was not into this match. I felt like everybody just came off as pedestrian. There was hardly any like real storytelling going on. There was some cool moves, but beyond that, like, man, I don't know. It was like, especially like Kota Ibushi. We got like the murder Ibushi, the trance Ibushi, and it just felt empty, man. It just felt like a gimmick. It felt empty. He doesn't feel special. Everybody in this situation makes everybody else feel less special. So yeah, I gave it 2 stars, dude.
I'm not too far off. I did 2.5. It probably would have been closer to 2 stars if he didn't get Trance Ibushi. Even if it felt a bit hollow and a bit gimmicky, I'm going to pop for Trance Ibushi. I mean, I mentioned this in the recap. I'll reiterate it here. You kind of knew what you were getting when they did that cartoonish abdominal stretch spot early on in the match.
Yeah.
Playing this match at least somewhat for laughs. And then the finish was so overbooked and messy.
It was silly.
It was silly. You got 4 of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
Just let them go out there and do their thing, and I don't know, it didn't connect. It didn't connect at all.
This match took such a downturn for me when you said on the stream. I didn't realize this was going to be a showcase for Chris Jericho. And I was like, man, you're totally right. That's why this shit is missing. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Next up for the AEW Tag Team Championships, you got FTR defending successfully against Aussie Open. So I haven't watched their first match. Apparently it went like a half hour, and everybody raves about it, how good it was.
Yeah.
And again, we mentioned this in the recap. I felt like AEW did Aussie Open a disservice. I know they had a couple like squash matches in the week or two leading up to this match to kind of rehabilitate their image within the company after losing to kind of put together tag teams and Better Than You, Bebe, and then Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Nonetheless, kind of the aftertaste of those two losses lingered for me, where there was no drama in this match. It could be as perfectly wrestled as possible, and this was a really good match.
Yeah.
But without drama, the finish feels inevitable.
Yeah.
And you can have all the false finishes you want. If I know in the end it's going to be Shatter Machine, I didn't know it was going to be Super Shatter Machine, but Shatter Machine 1, 2, 3, FTR wins. Well, you're instantly going to kind of suck me out of the match a little bit. I gave it 3.5. It was perfectly well wrestled. I just didn't feel like it was missing the it factor. That's kind of what I felt. There was some spark from it missing.
We're not far from it. I gave it 3 3/4 because I felt like basically everything I said about Kingston versus Shibata sort of applies here. Thought it was a fine match. I thought it was a really good match. They gave him 20 minutes. Kingston got his done in 11. It's extra. It's missing that extra spark that, oh my goodness, Aussie Open might actually pull this one off here. It was missing that. I never really thought that at any point. But again, the wrestling was really, really good in this match. So I'm not going to take that away from it. So 3 3/4. If I felt something more in this match, if I felt, oh man, Aussie Open actually has a chance here. They're really taking what Dax wanted. Oh, please give me your best.
I'm begging you. Take us
begging you. Yeah, they didn't do that, but they did a really good job with the wrestling. So yeah, 3 3/4.
And hopefully Mark Davis isn't hurt too bad. He said something about snapping his wrist on Twitter. So hopefully,
man, that Zack Sabre Jr. Dragon legs, the
dragon screw. Yeah, they look nasty too.
Oh my gosh.
Seemingly he's all right though. I haven't heard anything about him being hurt.
He's just rubber, man. He's rubber.
I guess so. And then our main event, Christian Cage defending the TNT title against Darby Allin. 2 out of 3 falls bout. Steve, what'd you give this one?
I really enjoyed this match. It was very WWE for me, which, I thought that it was very heavy on, the big dramatics, the big storytelling, some comedy stuff. Nick Wayne's mom was involved, Nick Wayne. And then you sort of have to wrap up the Adam Copeland stuff here at the end as well. I thought it was all really fun. I gave it 4 4.25 stars. Just because I thought it was really, really fun. It did give me that extra little bit. Christian got to retain. He's been on such a great hot streak lately. A really good role. I gave it 4 1/4. Thought it was really good stuff.
Not too far off. I gave it 4 stars. As mentioned, a lot of fun stuff. Hopefully Darby's not too jacked up from those spots on the stairs. Brutal. Goodness. Absolutely brutal. I thought the post-match angle leading up to Edge's debut was a little clunky. It felt like it was a little slow. Like it should have been bang, Sting comes out, he gets beat down quick, introduce the chairs, bang. Maybe they should have thought about not running that little video package because I was like, oh, Sami Callihan, that's weird. Just go right to Metalingus.
It's so funny because I saw one other person on Twitter mention the Sami Callihan parallel.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, you and I think we're just a little too it was kind of obvious who it was going to be.
Oh yeah.
But it was just sort of, it just would have been, because we're so used to that Sami Callihan thing, because that was the one period we were watching Impact when he started doing that. Yeah. So that sort of threw me off. But I also understand, okay, it's a relatively popular trope. You could see why Edge would like that.
And also 100,000 people watch Impact.
Right. Right. Exactly. But yeah, no, I feel you. Maybe they didn't need to do the video. Here's the thing about the video thing. The video thing was not as cool to warrant. It wasn't so cool that it needed to be there.
Exactly. If the lights come down and you hear, you think you know me.
Yeah,
and they all
that
pop
would be
up
way
and
bigger.
Steam's blowing up and the skulls pop up on the screen and Edge's on the ramp going crazy. It's immediate and the crowd gets super into it.
Yeah, that would have been a lot bigger. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, it's nothing like, remember when Mox debuted in New Japan and they had like the X signs or all that kind of stuff, and then they all like, and it said, I was like, whoa, and he's in the bar. That was a cool. That made sense.
Well, they took their time with that first. The first one of those, you didn't see him.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
it was kind of shocking when he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, really good stuff. I agree with you on the Edge stuff. It could have been a bit more impactful, but I don't know if that would have affected my score at all, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just sort of a production nitpick, I guess.
I guess so. So let us know what you think. What are your ratings for these matches? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Share your star ratings here in the comments. And I guess next week we'll be doing Fastlane.
That's right. So this Friday on this channel, we've got us reacting to Dave Meltzer's Those Other Guys star ratings. Larson's going to be in the hot seat for that one. Very exciting. And then we also have on Monday or maybe even Sunday, we've got our probably Sunday, our star ratings for
Gotta get them out immediately, unlike those
gotta get those out
other star ratings.
That's gonna do it. We'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.